So ever since Generation 7, I have always wanted Ariados to get something new. Whether it be a new regional form, some kind of paradox form, or even an evolution. I personally would prefer an evolution because I think that would be really cool. Because honestly, I love the design of this thing. I think it looks really, really cool. The colorations, the red, yellow, purple looks really, really good. And honestly, it's almost as useless as Beedrill is. Ariados essentially tries to be a more defensive version of Beedrill, but even then, it's still really frail. 70 in HP, defense, and special defense is not high enough where you would actually want to use it as a defensive Pokemon, and then 90 attack while also being really slow. So you're really frail, you're really slow, and you don't even hit hard. What's the point of Ariados at all? Now, Ariados' typing is nothing special. It's Bug and Poison. Bug and Poison is not the best typing in the world. It's alright defensively, but offensively it's absolutely horrible. You have two of some of the worst stab types to have in the whole game of Pokemon, so it's not the best typing in the world. Your abilities are really nothing special. You have Insomnia, it prevents you to fall asleep. You have Sniper that boosts up your power of your critical hits, and Swarm boosts up your power of bug type moves when you're low in health. They're alright, but they're not great abilities, nothing to scoff at, nothing really great. The only thing Ariados really has going for it is the move Sticky Web. Sticky Web is a nice stage hazard. Essentially, whenever a Pokemon switch in, it lowers speed. That's great. But we already have so many better Sticky Webbers that why would you use Ariados? It's frail, slow, it doesn't hit hard. Why not use something, let's say, Aquaragnid, who has the better typing, has better bulk, or you could use something like Gavantua, who's faster and actually hits relatively hard and has very accurate Thunder, or say something like, let's say, Masquerain, for example, who has Intimidate and has access to something like, let's say, Quiver Dance, and can actually do damage back. So why would you use Ariados over all of those other Sticky Webbers? Unless you like it. Unless you like it. That's the only reason why you would use Ariados. Me personally, I would love to see Ariados get a new evolution. And this is what I would do. I would make Ariados evolve into a ground bug type, based off of a wolf spider. Wolf spiders are ambush hunters who hide underground and wait until a prey comes in and snatches them, which is a really cool concept that I think would work really well for Ariados evolution. Bug and Ground is also typing that I want to see a new Pokemon have, because currently, all we have for Bug and Ground types are Wormadam, Sandy Form, and then Nincada. Both of which are pretty bad Pokemon, so we can't really utilize them well, so yeah, I want to see a new form of that type of type. Defensively, it's pretty interesting. So you resist fighting, ground, poison, and then you're immune to electric, with a weakness to flying, fire, water, and ice. While you have some common weaknesses, you also have some common resistances, so it's pretty balanced overall, right? Offensively, it's pretty decent actually. So you hit poison, rock, steel, fire, grass, electric, psychic, and dark, all for super effective. And the only big problem that you really have trouble with is flying types offensively, which most ground types do get rock type moves, so you could give it Stone Edge and will be good. And yeah, but either way, you might want to switch out anyways. As for stats, I want to give it a plus 100 stats, so we can change the 400 base stat total to a 500 base stat total. So what I would do is I would change the HP stat, the defense stat, and the special defense stat from a 70 all to 90. And then for the attack, I want to change it from a 90 to 120. So it can actually live a little bit better, and with a better typing, you can actually survive different types, right? And then also, you hit harder, which is something that Ariados really struggles with, right? As for the new ability, I want to give it the ability Stakeout. What Stakeout does is when an opponent switches out a Pokemon and say you attack, once they switch out, a new Pokemon comes in, and then it does double damage to the new Pokemon, which is really, really nice. I really like the idea of the ability Stakeout. Currently, we don't really have any good Pokemon that has access to ability, so this would be a nice pace to a new Ariados form. And then lastly, I would want to give it new moves. So first up, I want to give it a signature move, kind of like Regieleki Thunder Cage, where it traps the opponent and deals a little bit of damage at the end of the turn. So I would make it a 90 base power, 90% accuracy, make it a ground type move, and just trap them and deal a little bit of damage so it can actually do stuff. Because the idea is it's an ambush hunter, right? So it ambushes you, traps you, and attacks you slightly. as well as give it access to other ground type moves, like let's say Earthquake, just to have it, because not everyone want to use the ambush strat. And then lastly, I would want to give something like let's say Stone Edge, because it really needs some way to fight the flying types, because it's really going to struggle otherwise. And then with that being said, I think that would be a really cool evolution to give it to Ariados, because it really, really needs a new kind of evolution. So yeah.